talking.
Actions speak louder than words.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. And first thing, we'll play up allegiance to the flag. Let Bill lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
September 3rd, 2019. The regular meeting of the Franklin Town Board was called to order by Supervisor Jeff Taggart at 7:34 p.m. Present were Jeff Taggart, Garrett Sitz, Donnie Smith, Dwight Bruno, Paul Warner, and Jamie Archibald. The minutes were read from the August 6, 2019 meeting. Donnie Smith made the motion to accept the minutes as read. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion. All present agreed. Jamie Archibald reported for Mark Lang that there is 3 miles of chip sealing left to do. Should be done within 2 weeks. They will be hot patching East Hanson Brook Road and Cary Road before winter. He also said the town is in need of 2 10-wheelers to replace the ones that were taken off the road. They have found a couple, and Donnie Smith made the motion to pursue the purchase of these. Garrett Sitz seconded the motion. Jeff mentioned that they should get rid of the ones not in use. Dave Tuthill reported for the Franklin Kellogg Trust. Jeff said the land purchase for town offices should be complete either this week or next. Jeff reported the Delaware General representatives will be at the planning board meeting September 5th, 2019 at 7:30 to answer questions. Amanda Groff reported the Recreation Committee had a good year other than the pool had to be closed a little early because of pump and electrical issues. There was a discussion about Dollar General. Several people shared their concerns. Jim Basil did a presentation on software used for reappraisal. It would be a couple years to wait for new software. It was agreed to go ahead and do the reappraisal next year. Donnie Smith made the motion to reappoint Jim Basil to another 6-year term for appraiser. Garrett Sitz seconded the motion. All present agreed. Donnie Smith made the motion for Paul to pay the bill for appraiser for Love and Hope. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion. All present agreed. Donnie Smith made the motion to write the check to finalize the land purchase. Garrett Sitz seconded the motion. All present agreed. With nothing further to come before the board, Garrett Sitz made the motion to adjourn. Donnie Smith seconded the motion, and all present agreed.
Any additions or corrections? I think we said Delaware Dollar.
Oh, Dollar General. I just can't read.
Okay, I thought you probably had Dollar General, but I said Delaware.
I do have Dollar
See,
General.
now there's 13 of them.
All right. It's really right.
Yeah, okay. Any additions or corrections?
No.
On the motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Do you want to do the budget now, Paul, or we do some marks before I see Dave isn't here? I don't know if Dwight's got anything from that.
I had a message from Dave Tuthill, and he said he'll have the figures at the next meeting.
Okay.
We're going to be meeting tomorrow evening.
Would you like to do it now? I can do it now.
I just won't get it over.
Okay. The supervisor's presenting the preliminary budget to the board tonight. When the town clerk has their next hours, there'll be copies on hand for the public to see. On the summary, basically, the tax cap is at 2% again, and the increase we're looking at right now, preliminary, is 1.95 or 96 increase. I can go through line by line the ones that got increased from last year. The Justice Personal Services went up $500. The Director of Finance Contractual went up $800. The Town Clerk Personal Services up $250. Town Clerk Contractual up $500. The attorney contractual up 1,000. The highway superintendent up 500. Publicity up 300. Social Security for General A up 500. And the medical insurance for the general up $50. The revenues all remain the same for the General A. The General B, everything stayed the same for the expenses and for the revenues. The Highway DA increased the machinery contractual expense by 10,000. Increased the medical insurance by $415 for the DA. The revenues remain the same. The DB, we increased the health insurance there, the medical insurance there also by $415. And the revenues remain the same.
Going back, the DA, the medical insurance went up more than
What did I say?
450. It went from 67,450.
Oh, right, 1415, right?
1450.
Sorry. And the DB did the same,
Did the same thing,
1,415.
Right, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. The revenue is the same in the DB. The light district stayed the same. And the water districts remained the same. I don't have a number on the fire district yet. So the total amount to be raised by taxes, excluding the fire district, is $1,217,150.
And these will be available on next, maybe available for Thursday.
Yep. Yep.
So it'll be available at that time. Thank you. This is basically the first time the town board has seen it, so is there any questions? Okay. And, excuse me, we'd like to, yeah, Amanda, you're here
I am.
about the rec committee, I believe.
I am.
Yep,
I just wanted to present our budget
okay.
to you. We had a lot of areas that we over budgeted for, and some areas, very few areas that we over budgeted for. Our revenue, we're looking to be about the same. Everything's pretty much the same from last year.
How did the two county youth, how did they work out this, you were paying lifeguards.
Right, so we paid 2 lifeguards out of the Youth Bureau positions, and we could maximize each of those out at 200 hours at 11, whatever minimum wage is, sorry, 11 per hour. So we actually ended up, I think, sending invoices. The way that the Youth Bureau allowed us to do it this year was, instead of paying the person directly, we as a commission paid them throughout the season and then just invoiced the Youth Bureau at the end of the season. So that'll end up being, I believe, about a $4,000 put back for us. So that was, that was awesome. It offset some of the continued pool expenses. We've decided that we will not be closing or opening the pool ourselves, but having the company do it, just to, there's an expense up front, but hopefully it will save us in the long run of any accidents or mishaps. we're, still, we had more swimmers than we thought, swimming registrations, but we had less baseball registrations than we thought. We did lose out, Unadilla Rec used to come and use the pool, and they're no longer doing that. They've actually consolidated into a Unatigo Central School rec program, so they use the Otigo pool now, so that eliminates that. But I think next summer, the Headwaters Soccer Camp is slated, it's not solid, to come to Franklin, and they're going to use our pool for the week that they're here, so maybe some possible difference because of that. So I guess I only have 3 copies of this if anybody wants one, but I will, Paul, I'll hand that to you, and there are the other 2 copies if anybody wants to see them. Thank you. And we always say thank you for your support and supporting youth. We're going to continue with our programs, and the addition of basketball will continue for next year. So we're looking forward to it. But if anybody has any questions, I'm always able to answer them. And we have our meetings the 2nd Tuesday of every month at the Village Hall. So thank you.
Now, here's just an offer.
Okay.
I know the Village Hall can be tough to, manage the stairs.
Yes.
And if you'd like to have meetings here, I think it would be made available for you.
Okay. I will, pose that to everybody and make that offer. We did, in the middle of the season, have some ladies who wanted to come to the meetings, but there were some setbacks because of the handicap accessibility, and we'll, again, put that out there.
Okay, just, it's available. That's
Okay.
The 2nd Tuesday is right now very quiet.
Right. During the pool season, we did have some meetings down at the pool just to get people down there and look around. So we're flexible, but thank you for the offer.
Okay. And the library, have you got a financial?
Yes, I have a rough draft here for you. Basically, the Franklin Free Library had a very good year. We did very well on our fundraising and our donations. So we are not asking for any additional money from the taxpayers.
Okay.
Everything will stay the same, including the $2,000 from the town.
Right.
So you're holding the line.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions for the library? From anybody? Okay. I guess we'll go to Mark now on this road superintendent's report.
All right. So, about the trucks, 2 trucks, we actually got one. Need to have a check for the one in Unadilla. We got that for 20 grand. So 2004 Mack, and an extra sander and some other stuff. But we went after a second one, and we lost out about $100 on that. Another Mack, maybe up in that $45,000 range. So to pass this around, we're going to go tomorrow, look at another one out in Finger Lakes. Try to see if we can get that.
Is this one here, or is it another Mack you're looking at?
No, it's that one.
Oh, right there, that's a Freightliner, or?
Freightliner, 2009 Freightliner. So that's a Paystar, which was the higher built one than most of these other internationals. It's got all the same heavy rears and stuff. The only advantage to this one is it's single frame instead of this double frame. Double frames, because that's one of our biggest issues we do have is rust gets in between them and then pulls them out.
No, I know somebody, I don't remember who I was talking to. They're starting new on double frames, putting grease fittings on them so you can
Yeah.
get the water out of them.
Yeah, some of them do that, and some of them have actually started going to a treatment. Unadilla actually does it on their stuff. You put mineral oil between the rails and stuff. They put fittings in, and the guy comes in every year, $250, and does the cab, the rails, every place. And I said that it's really helped out a lot
Right.
with it. Guys from Green, for $250 a truck, it's pretty reasonable.
He injects it between the two frame rails.
He's got all sorts of wands and stuff that he can get it in there, and he's actually been, with the help of whoever's owns the truck, you know, put some fittings in there, actually, they're not grease fittings, but they're different, so he can pressurize and stuff, so. So we went down and looked at this one at Unadilla, worked out a price that I think is way more than fair, considering what trucks are going for right now. 20,000, that's right in the ballpark where we were with the other trucks.
Right. It's got a plow and everything too, right?
Plow, wing, of course the hitch, slide-in sander, regular box, and
No, you said hitch, what's that for the
front hitch for the front plow.
plows and stuff, okay.
So all of that stuff is included.
We have a motion to pay the Unadilla, town of Unadilla,
Yep, County
$20,000.
I'll make the motion.
05, 04,
04.
Mac. Motion been made,
Second it.
any discussion? All in favor? Passed.
And then tomorrow we're gonna run out to Geneva and look at this other one, but it goes off tomorrow night. 6 o'clock is when that goes off. Personally, because that's a 2009, I think it's gonna push up closer to 50 on that than it will in that 40,000 range. Right now it's at 27.5, I believe, when I left the house tonight.
Gonna go fast now.
Yeah, and I didn't look at it. That was about 4 o'clock when I looked at it.
Well, the new one, that the county's been buying them and other towns have, they're anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 for a new one.
Unadilla just paid $210, I believe it was, on their new one.
Right, so the county pays $225 to $230 because they get the bigger motor and. Okay.
We'll look at this and we'll see where it should go, but I really think we should, if it's a decent truck, you know, and it's what we think it is, I mean, it's got, you can see this stuff, good tires, we just want, they've redone the brakes on it, they did the regen system on it.
We've been paying the max, now it's gonna be changing up
Yeah, but it's,
year again.
well, here's my thing about that, is the parts are pretty much parts. I mean, there's, what we use on Paul's isn't necessarily the same on, you know, Jamie's and stuff, so it's, you know, basically all the rears, transmissions and that stuff are pretty much all the same. The only difference is this one's gonna be a Cummins, so 450 horse Cummins,
Does this have full locking mirrors?
we think so.
That'd be a huge
In this area, yeah, that's what we were.
Yeah, and we're hoping it is. We can see where it looks like it is. The guy we talked to, or Billy talked to today, couldn't answer that question, but we were gonna
Find
look
that
at
out.
it
Right.
tomorrow. Yeah, it's, so,
'Cause that'd
it's
be
nice to have the full locking
Right.
lockers. I wouldn't,
It's night and day.
it is nice and day, but it's,
So if it is, and it's.
It's huge.
If it doesn't have a full locking rears, I think I know we do need a truck, don't get me wrong on that.
well, the one One thing that we found out today, we can change a couple things in those rears and make them full lockers, so it's not that big a deal.
Really?
We're gonna find out a little more about the pricing on it. Just got
Because
changed.
the rear end difference is huge from locker and non-locker.
Yeah. But basically, there's a couple things in the rear that I didn't get a price on yet, and then you just gotta change one axle to a double spline axle, so.
Okay.
But we've seen the actuator and everything in the pictures and stuff, so we think that it can be done.
Now, do we wanna, where does the town board, or what's the price range we should be looking at? 'Cause that's what it comes down to.
My personal opinion is, I think it's gonna go someplace between 45 and 50. Just by what I'm seeing and.
Well, you're talking, the one you were looking at the last week was, 05,
Yeah, 05, 12.
which was nice, but it went for
45.
45.
45.3.
This is 09. Find out the rear ends on it, you know, make them lock in rear ends, then, 50 probably wouldn't be a bad deal.
What's the
board feel?
emissions on this one?
The emissions,
Is it tier 4 or is it tier 3 or tier 4? do you
I
know?
say tier 3 on that year. That was just,
So we're still below the urea
tier
and all.
1 and 2 was 7 and 8, so I would say that, I'll find that out tomorrow, because it should be stamped on there. They didn't, there wasn't any pictures in there to see what the stamping was for that.
And I didn't pick up on it, I didn't pick up on the side where the cap for urea, so I don't think there's a urea tank on it. Because normally there's that decal with that extra cap.
And the other thing you gotta realize too, that on these auction vehicles, there's a 10% buyer's fee. So if you go 50, you're going 55.
Yeah, one, because we're a member, and two, because we're a municipality, usually it's 14%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. To use
that 10% is
Yeah.
a kicker.
Yeah, and so I would have went higher on that other one, time to put the fee in there, it was gonna knock me over to 45.
They put you to 50. So, what's the feeling of the board?
It's a lot less than 200,000.
Yeah. But if, the way it sounds right now, the locking rears is the maker or breaker of the deal. That's,
If you could buy it for 45, you could put lockers on it for 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
that's,
Yeah, we were looking at it today. So, like on those two state trucks there, because of the way the suspension is, and then that's what we're looking at doing. Because to redo those suspensions, it's gonna start out at $5,000, and we can get lockers, super springs, the trunnions, everything at $5,000.
so they haven't got locker rears on the state trucks. Oh,
It's very rare to get them in a Mack,
oh, okay.
and the ones that Mack has don't work that well.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, the way this is set up, they'll lock up, but it doesn't fully lock everything in.
So what's the feeling of the board? How far do we go? Or how far would we like to go? Just a ballpark figure, or whatever?
so much hinges on what it looks like tomorrow. It's hard to make that decision, if
It's
it's,
got the rim locking rear, you've saved $5,000 in changes. Right? Is that, am I understanding that? You both said the locking rears are important. I don't know, it's not my cup of tea. And Paul's here shaking his head, so I think it's, between you guys, I mean, three, I think it's an important deal. If it doesn't have it, it hurts the price of the truck. If it does have it, then it's worth more money. But where do you want
I'd
to
be
go?
surprised if it doesn't have it, really.
Right.
Because it's the higher end truck. right?
Well, it's a municipal plow truck, right?
Yeah, they
It's
ordered
not a
it.
dump, so there's a good chance it's got full on.
If it does, I think 50 is fair, and if it doesn't, 45.
Yeah.
And just to put the, give you a figure to play with, Mark. Or somewhere's in that range.
Yeah, somewhere's nearby that.
Even without it, it's worth 50.
Especially if it looks spectacular,
Yeah.
everything's good on it,
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll see what this thing's like.
Yep.
Okay. The other day, and this has been going on for quite a while,
I saw it today.
yeah, what's gonna happen is somebody's gonna get hurt, and the other day, Paul was watching the truck, he didn't even know this. When he pulled his truck out, the door started coming down. They're just too heavy, and so at first I called Jack and I said, I don't care, just order me one. I'm not gonna put up with that. I mean, you think about it, we had all them people here for that corn cutting thing, and then up, and that comes down, some kids around. The weight of that door, Paul can't even push it up anymore. So even with the springs fully tensioned up, so we need to do something like now. I know all three of them are bad, but we just gotta get that one started in the process. So I called him and told him, I said, give me a price. So it's $5,950, and that's with the new opener, all the hardware, track, doors, everything that needs to.
That's all his supplies, everything.
He supplies everything. So it's
Turnkey, it's called.
1414 insulated door.
It's all that's installed, right?
Yep, industrial 3-inch tracking hardware, angle mounts with the seals, insulated windows. Be one row of them. I believe there was 4 in that, and actually 5. And industrial duty operating remote control.
Any questions for Mark on this?
How much are they?
$59.50.
Who was that from?
Jack Hayes.
Yeah. It'll be done right.
Yep.
Well, he put the original ones in himself.
Yeah.
When he worked for Overhead or Duchess. And to get, like he said, we maintained them and stuff. That's why we got 30-some years out of them. Hopefully. I will tell you, the other two are never going to get 30 years out of them. And, to give you an idea, not bashing them, and it's all right for homeowner or something like that. Every morning we come down here in the winter, the steam blowing out from the back of the door. It just can't handle that 14 years, man. It bows in the top panel for these do that.
We have a motion to purchase one of them this year.
I make the motion.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I saw him in the village just this afternoon. They stopped
Yeah, that's right.
there. They said, oh, he's not just putting down marks.
Yeah, he said he'd be here Tuesday, and like always, the guy he says Tuesday, he's here Tuesday.
Yep. Okay.
We've done business with them.
Right now, I don't. I just gotta get the paperwork finished up, get all the bills paid for the
Right on.
chip sealing and stuff, and then that all goes in, everything goes in. Some of them didn't get these bills in as quick as we needed for last month. So it's gonna be on a December payment, everything.
Oh, everything's gonna be December.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be, just
Okay.
the way things.
Yep.
And, I mean, the weather threw us back a little bit, and it's throwing everybody back. I think we're gonna be about one of the just so you know, like, 2 of them programs, hopefully they're not gonna take them away, they'll do something with them, but the Pave New York program is up this year. Nobody knows where it's going, and then that early winter recovery that got taken out of the budget there and then given back to us. So, I haven't gotten a good answer from anybody, even talking to Cliff Crouch and all of those guys, why that even got taken out and then all of a sudden got put back in. Hopefully that, we're pretty sure the Pave New York thing is gonna, they'll find something, because the governor's really getting his butt kicked about this, the infrastructure in the state of New York. You see all the stuff that's going down about the bridges and stuff.
Anything else, Mark?
Not that I can think of right now.
I report about the planning board. Some people were here. There was nothing at the planning board meeting except Dollar General. It was a very informative local group. And then I did sign the papers the 24th of September. I signed the papers on the land, and it is the town of Franklin's now. A lot of the 32 acre land. And we had a meeting last night. I met with the engineers, or we did some, and got some ideas. We're gonna try to expand the front of the basement pad where it comes out. Where you got right now, you got about an 8-foot apron. What we're thinking of doing is digging out that, at least at the 8-foot mark, putting in a frost wall and footer and a frost wall and stuff, and that'll be added. And then have support there to bring the top floor out the added 20 or 8 feet, which will gain over 200 feet on the basement level and 200 feet on the upstairs level of space for not really tremendous amount. I mean, where on the basement, that's going to be basically a lobby, or some will be a lobby, like a lobby. You come into there, and then you go to whatever office might be in the cellar, in the basement part of it. And right now, we're talking of maybe not moving our assessor and our code enforcement officer up there. We might make room in this meeting room here, which we get a courtroom up there, which will be the meeting room, and all that. This room will be vacant, and the thought was of possibly making 2 offices down here, who needs a little bigger offices, and have like a small meeting room from the doorway this way would be still a conference room or whatever. I have a couple offices on that side, to take a couple offices out from up there so we get more. My thought right now is we need space for records. And that's what I'd love to get, more space up there for records, as much as we can get. So that was a talk last night about that, and the engineers are working on floor plans. And if anybody has any ideas,
Jeff, how much space are you thinking for records? I wasn't able to be there the other night.
As much, I'm not sure how much we can get, Dwight, because realistically at this point, if we have the town clerk up there, or whatever space you need, Sonia, and there's gonna be a maintenance room, with the electric services, with the hot water heater, and there's gonna be a corner for that. But other than that, maybe have either office for the village, or maybe a small office for myself, maybe, or the supervisor. But not use any more space we have up there for that, so we can have record room.
Well, how much are we gonna, what are we,
what are we looking for as far as space for records? I mean,
There-
we gotta have some kind of idea of
I
what
have
we
no
need.
idea.
Okay,
I have no idea. I just know as much as we can make, I'm sure we can fill. I mean, that's the problem, you know, and, you know, it's gonna, they were talk last night too, the floor of the cell, the basement is cracked in a couple spots, rough in a couple spots. So what they recommended, the engineers, is to break the floor out and put, radiant heat in the floor. And that way, and we've got 10-foot walls. You could actually not break it, dig it down too much and still have the radiant floor within a foot, right? I mean, you're shaking your head. You know, instead of tearing it all out, just, I don't know, what the, you know, easiest, simplest, cheapest way to do it. But there are 10-foot ceilings, and if you know, if your building's gonna sit on top of the walls, you've got at least a foot or a foot and a half of extra space that you're gonna have just dead air space. So do you, as somebody, you know, just put the radiant heat and on top, you know, put your foam down or whatever, however they put radiant heat in, and just raise the floor up a foot.
Are they gonna put radiant in the top floor?
That, I don't know, we didn't even talk about that, but if we have it in the basement, I have to think it might be put in the top floor. Through the joists. But that's what was talked of, you know, trying to get as much footage out of it without spending a new basement. They had proposed 2.5 foot, I think, coming out on the top floor. But this will give us 200 feet on the basement floor, you know, and 8, I mean, if your office is 15 feet wide, there's an extra 8 feet in front, so it's leave more space in the back too. So it's, you know, it's, you don't need all lobby the full width of the building, but mainly have a spot for people to come in out of the weather before they go to the office that they want to go to. And it's still in the preliminary stages, so when we get more plans, we'll show them. But that's where it's going. They're also talking of moving, the well is dry. It's only 80 feet deep, and there's no water in it. And the well is 20 feet from the backside of the foundation, which is right in the middle of parking, right in the middle of whatever. So it might be, and they don't know exactly where the septic is, where Reynolds Construction did the foundation and stuff, so they probably put the septic in and everything. So we've got to get a hold of them, the engineers are gonna get a hold of them, see if they get some plans to find out where everything is. And moving the well to a site away from the septic might be a viable, since it's dry anyway. You know,
Did they check with the code officer? He might know where the septic is.
they asked the code officer, and nobody had any record of it. I'm not sure how that happened, but between, that was back, I don't know, 02, 03, I think they bought it. I don't know when the foundation was put in.
They're assuming that Reynolds will probably have a documentation on it.
That's where we're hoping. And that's what Dave Owen's gonna do some legwork on that. Is there any other questions about it? Yes?
Will there be a big enough room for voting?
That's my concern, is getting, I mean, the court's gonna be, you know, what Gary's got now is a court, and what that will be is amazing. But I wanna get as much room as we can, so it'll be more roomy for voting, yes. That's what my concern is. And their concern too, they know it's in. But that's where I want to get the extra footages from if we can. Get as much as we can, because now is the time to do it. And that was brought up last night, you know, that we want as big a courtroom as you can get, because that will be the spot for voting. And down, I mean, at the board meeting, we don't need all that space for normal board meetings or planning board meetings or any other meeting, but it's, you know, that was one of the main concerns, is to make the courtroom as big as we could feasibly do it. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. We open it up.
Need a motion to adopt
the preliminary budget.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll have a public hearing next month. Now, is that on Wednesday, next month, Tuesday? Not Tuesday.
Day after election.
Every day after election, which would be Wednesday the 6th. And we'll have a public hearing at 7:30.
6 o'clock.
Oh, time change. Oh. Earlier board meeting, it'll be 6 o'clock for winter time. Somebody better hold my
You gotta get
Okay, we have a-
some more
we don't need that. Motion.
So you're gonna have the public hearing at
At 6 o'clock, yeah.
You just gotta have.
I just gotta advertise it. Okay.
definitely here.
Yes, sir.
Whatever works.
Okay, I guess, is there anything else before we open the meeting up? Okay, we'll open the meeting up to anybody who has questions or answers. Don't be shy, Pat, come on.
I was last year, so I figured. Okay, I'll speak. Do I come up or sit here? What do you want?
Yeah, whatever fits, whatever you, you
Um,
gotta get on camera, you gotta come up.
I don't want to get in camera.
Tony, there you go.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna ask the town board if there was any chance that I might be able to change the name of Stanley Road Spur. Stanley Road Spur Road, I don't know how it goes, but now that we have been going back there, we've had people on their GPS, they don't put the spur in, and they go up and over the old Stanley Road that's been closed. So even though we tell them to put spur in there, they don't do it, and we've had people stuck up there and all sorts of things. So I got a 911 address for my new house that's being built, and I asked her out of curiosity, how do you go about changing a name? And they said, well, you got to talk to your neighbors. I said, there's no neighbors. I own everything on both sides of that. And they said, just go to the town board and ask for a resolution and see if we can change the name. So it's really up to you guys.
Where do I change it to?
Well, my kids vetoed my choice, so I was thinking Eagles Way Road. So something completely different from Stanley Road, and it has a little meaning to our family, and so that was it.
State would like that, because they don't like spur.
Oh, good.
I'm in favor of
Pomeroy spur, they had a fit about when we
Yeah.
renamed that. And I know they had a fit about that, so.
it. It was in front of our house, the same thing, and then they finally got changed it.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I don't see any problem with it.
So, what has to be done is, she brought it here, you have to vote to make a resolution, and then it has to go to this county, and then the county forwards it to the state.
We have a motion for a resolution to change the name of Stanley
Road Spur. Yeah,
to Eagles Way.
Eagles Way.
Eagles Way.
Eagles Way.
Yep.
Eagles Way Road, yes?
Eagles Way Road is fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think, way I think is a private, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be road if it's public.
Okay.
Lane and Way are all private, so Eagle Road or Eagles Road or,
Eagles Way Road.
Yep.
we'll try that.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.
That was easy.
Once in a while you get lucky.
I think they said that you just have to send it to the 911 address people too, the resolution.
Well, once everybody gets approved, because
Yes.
it has to go through, believe it or not, has to go to the state.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which-
She didn't tell me that.
That's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't get your information from the post office. Especially
Okay.
about mailboxes and roads.
Okay. Thank you.
Probably the only thing that's gonna happen is I've been trying on, we have other places like Crystal Creek is seasonal use, and all during the winter, GPS sends them that way. So don't think that this GPS thing is gonna get cured.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. At least
It's,
they don't go up over that hill.
yeah. Yeah, we've had a few of them on the other end too, who've tried to get over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Travels good on a motorcycle.
Tractor maybe.
Snowmobile ain't too bad.
Right, as long as you got enough snow.
Right.
Yeah.
Better not go on the first snow. Okay, is there anything else? That, so, or Patty, I guess, painless and.
That is it? Okay.
It'll probably get you a year process, but what the heck, at least it started.
Hey, I brought it out there. It's up
That's
to you
right.
guys now.
Now it's up to the county. We
That's
passed it.
Okay, good.
The first two steps were easy. Good. Okay, is there anything else? Somebody else that has a question? Now you high school seniors, you're all sit back there and smile and smirk and really, you talk to each other once in a while. You ought to get on the camera too. That way your teacher know you're here.
We make them at the school board meeting stand up and introduce themselves.
Oh, that may be a nice new policy. I think it would be, that would be fitting, wouldn't it, Tony? Have them stand up and introduce themselves.
Sure.
Oh. Okay, would you please stand up and introduce yourself?
I'm Molly McLaughlin, class of 2020.
I'm Gabriel Smith, class of 2020. I'm Brock Warner, class of 2020, also. I'm Jonathan Davis, class of 2020. I'm Nicholas McQueenie, class of 2020.
I'm Sophie Bielinski, class of 2020. I'm Maddie Ackler. I think you get the rest.
Thank you. Thank you. Saves us signing papers now. So has anybody else got anything to come before the board? Jim, you're here. You got anything for us or just?
Litigation stuff.
Litigation stuff, okay, okay. So is there anything else to come for questions for the board?
So we move forward.
So we'll move executive session, James, is that what you'd like to see for litigation pertaining to assessment problem? How's that?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
We do thank everybody. Do we?